Are we live? I think we're live. Let's look.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I just got a notification. I'm live. Sweet. Okay, y'all can still hear me too?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to be making some Greaves. They can be found on the Dark Horse Workshop
Didn't happen.
You
Oh,
probably
no,
thought it
no.
was cool.
website. That goes away. And oh, let's see. I can stop streaming here. There we go.
Can you throw a link on Discord for the YouTube stream? I'm gonna hop over there. I think I do some cooking.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
Let's see. YouTube. You would think they'd make it really easy to find it. Here's where you are streaming.
Do you want me to grab a link and share it? I'm on there right now.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great. Oh, I found it. Yeah, that's it.
Where's the best channel to share it?
I think I'm going to put it in the streaming one, the streamers one.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. And we got the mushroom coffee here. Anybody try this yet? The Rise coffee? Not a sponsor yet.
No, I'm not a coffee drinker.
I don't normally drink coffee, but this is like just ground up mushrooms, apparently. It's not actually coffee. It's pretty good.
All right, I got to YouTube. I see you there in a bit.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. Need to sign into the chat over there. Just trying to get everything situated. Oh my goodness. Stop asking me questions.
Wait, who? Where?
It's just the streaming things for For signing into the chat. This keeps asking a bunch of questions. I think I'm good now. In before trust.
Man, I was sitting in there too. Like, missed opportunity.
No one's ever in before trust.
Man.
There's my coffee mug. Gonna Dad the Berserker. All right. So today, I've got several different things that I'm working on. I'm gonna jump over to the table over here. I still gotta clean up some of this stuff. Y'all can still hear me, right? I didn't set it up wrong.
Still hear you, yeah.
Okay. Um, so we'll get this cleaned off a little bit here, and then we'll get started on the Greaves. Has anybody actually done? Oh, Gator did them already, right? Gator's finished them.
I think so.
And somebody
I've
else.
honestly kind of been away from that particular one just because I wasn't going to be able to participate in it, and I didn't have anything to say because I've never made any armor. But I should really visit it again and, yeah, check it out.
I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be.
can see Gator.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Gator does a good job.
Yeah.
They're always like,
Oh, yeah. And Ronald Handmade is also working on it.
that's right. Yeah,
That
he's
looks so good.
he's got the copper uh, curly cues. I don't know what those are called. It'd be nice if Magnus gave those a name.
It's like filigree, but it's like Celtic filigree or like Vikings filigree or something. I guess it would have a different name because filigree, I think, is. I'm not sure if it's French, but.
Yeah. All right. I don't think I've printed out the Greaves yet. Let's do that real quick. Greaves 2. Yep. And we're going to go with I'm just going to print the extra large. Those are probably going to be too big for my legs, but that's okay. All the other pieces I printed as extra large. And they are on Fred back there.
Oh my God. Sorry, I need to mute myself. I apologize.
That's all right. Yeah.
That embarrassing moment when you open a new tab and then suddenly there's volume just shouting at you, like audio shouting at you.
No idea what that's like. I certainly didn't do that just 5 minutes ago when I started the stream. Not at all.
I feel mildly embarrassed right now.
Nah. It's all fun. All right. So there's I set Fred up back there with the cloak that I made too. So I can move that out of the way, I guess. So there's Fred in all his glory. All right. So I got the Greaves are printing, and we're going to be using some culotta that I picked up from Tandy the other day. Here's the. I don't want to cut this completely open. You just put it down there, please. Thank you, sir. And there's a 2 to 3 ounce. That's pretty nice. I'm going to use that for a wallet. I don't know if you can see that. And let's see. I'm going to keep this paper. I don't have anything to cover up the leather down here, but now I do. So this is the colada that I bought. It looks very pink under this light, but it's pretty clean, and it was on sale, which was nice. It does have one little blemish on it, but hey, it was on sale. All right. Got some scratches there, a little mar there, and a brand here. I should be able to work around that. Oh, you put it over here. Okay. Wait a second. This is the gorget. Why is this the gorget? It's not supposed to be the gorget.
I've recently started using a filing cabinet to keep my patterns in order. Uh, and I've made the mistake of not starting off with structure and like labeling things properly. So now I've just got a bunch of like manila folders full of patterns, and I have to go through each one to know which one like it is because I haven't labeled any of it. So it's like so helpful to have it in a filing cabinet, but none of it is labeled, so it's kind of useless and more disorganized than before. Anyway, long story short, I need to get on top of that basically before it becomes too much. I think another 2 months from now, and I'll just want to scrap the whole thing and forget I own anything.
Yeah. Oh, there's peas and rice. Come on up if you want to talk peas and rice. Hey, Giuseppe.
Thank you. Hello.
Heyo.
Let's see. We want to print these Greaves off. Is there another version of the Greaves? I have the 1.0 alpha, but I thought there was an updated version.
Not sure. I'll go check.
There's a 1.1, looks like. Okay, let's do the. Oh, I have the. Let's see what size is likely to fit me. Since he did go ahead and put these sizes in here.
Was it dad size?
Let's see, pick your size based on the designer length listed below. But what am I measuring? From the top of the foot to a bit below the knee. Yeah, I think it's going to be probably the medium. That might be the best one for me to do. So any plans for today other than watching me fumble around with all this stuff?
I'm needle felting. I've redecorated a little bit for like taking away Halloween decorations and stuff around the house. And anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm needle felting an image. Like I'm just making a picture in 2D on a piece of wool to be part of the redecoration that I'm doing.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't need all this context. You can't see what I'm doing. But yeah, it's very therapeutic. Just mixing colors in wool and then stabbing it with a needle a bunch of times until it looks really cool. So, yeah.
Very nice.
So, I'll probably have to look up what needle felting is.
Yeah, if you look up like a needle felted picture, that'll probably give the best representation if you're that curious. But yeah.
Well, while we're waiting for the Greaves to print off, I can show you. So this week was my 15th anniversary with my wife.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
congrats.
And well done.
So that's what I'm going to make for her. That's what she said she wanted. And we're going to be using this, it's called an Old Town. It's like a pull-up with a drum die to it.
Oh my gosh, I used to have one of those.
Oh, nice.
Very similar. They're
Yeah.
lovely.
It's really nice.
Wow. Cool.
This should be fun.
And you're gonna make it for her. That's so special.
Yep. And I try to get. I wanted to have it done by the end of the week, but the it's a drum die thing, so I ended up rubbing off some of the color rubbed off on my hands while I was working with it, and I thought I can't have that. You know, she can't wear a white shirt and a backpack and then have brown dye all over her back. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I had to get some neat lack to seal it.
It's got a nice colour to it.
Yeah, I like it. All right. So here we go. Page layout. Like that. All right. RD. So this is this must be the front side. No.
So this weekend I'm going to try and extract birch oil from birch bark,
Nice.
which involves burning it basically. I don't know if you've ever seen them do it. But
That's interesting. Is that like to prepare a fast fire starter in the future for camping or something?
Well, I could use it like that, but I'm not going to. They use it in soap and stuff like that.
Okay, so first one we're going to do here is going to be the right side, and then I'll probably do the left side another day. I'm going to cut all the pieces out, and then I went over to Staples the other day because I ran out of tape. The last stream that I did on Discord, I didn't have any tape. I got one of these handy little tape dispensers, but I had no tape for it. And Staples has tape on sale for like $4 or something, or maybe I don't know. It might have been $15, but it was you get 10 rolls of tape. I was like, that's gonna last me a little bit.
Yeah, I experienced something similar recently when I had to restock tape. I was like, oh, I just need a couple of rolls. And it was only in packs of 16 or something. It was a bit ridiculous, but now I'll never be without tape, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess with winter holidays coming up, there's a lot more gift giving this time of year anyway, so wrapping
Yeah.
stuff will be easier.
I was going to try to go to there's a Renaissance fair. They did a Viking weekend last weekend, about an hour and a half from my house, and I was going to try to go to that last weekend, but my back was killing me. I mean, it's been tough to stand for very long. I guess that's what happens when you get old.
Oh, God. I think at one point, I remember my dad started carrying around, and I don't know if he actually carried it into places, but if we were going to be walking around for the day, he brought like this little stool that he would normally take fishing,
Mm,
like one of those little, very small when you fold it up camping chairs or something. But it's basically just a piece of canvas between like a couple of slats that are
mm-hmm.
crisscrossed in the middle, so you can just open it up and it becomes like a little sitting stool.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I was like, "Why are you bringing that?" And he's like, "Look, I don't need to be doing all this. Like, I just want to relax. Let me be."
Yep. Oh. I used to have two of these metal corkback rulers, and one of them was 18 inches long, and I really liked it. And my 3-year-old got a hold of it. Now I have no idea where it is.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I know people don't like to say that they buy things on Amazon online for some reason, but or I mean, I know there's a reason, but I got a pack that had like an 18-inch, 12-inch, and a 6-inch forkback ruler metal, and it was really reasonable. Um, and that's all I have to say about that. Like, there's your. It was like $11 or something, um,
That's
for
cool.
all three.
I have no problem saying I buy things on Amazon. I only do it like a few times a month. It's so convenient. Like, so convenient.
It is really convenient.
I don't have to leave the
I tend to
house.
use eBay more, but
Oh, really? Oh, for like, oh, that's interesting. Because I tend to, there's a very specific type of thing that I might be looking for on eBay compared to Amazon. Like Amazon, I'm usually looking for new things. And eBay, I'm usually looking for like vintage products or used or things like that.
I've never purchased anything from eBay that I remember. Maybe once a long time ago, but I don't think I've ever bought anything off eBay. My brother uses it all the time. He sells a lot of
I
stuff.
sell stuff on it, so
Yeah,
it's kind of part of my routine a bit.
that's what he does too.
Oh.
I think I tried to sell something on there one time, and I didn't enjoy the process. Not successful. Okay.
Does anyone use the crescent shaped like leather knife?
I was gonna buy one, and the guy at Tandy talked me out of it. He said, "Oh, I used one of those, and unless you're really like effectively going into saddlery, you don't really need one." He said they're really a pain in the butt to sharpen, and he said once they're sharp, they're fantastic, but you're just as likely to cut your fingers off as you are to cut the leather with them. So
Wait, what was the name of the item?
it's one of the half moon knives.
Oh, oh yeah, I thought about getting one for skiving,
Hmm.
but yeah, I don't have one either. I have something that looks like a tiny little axe almost. And Dad, I'm not sure if you have it as well, but I know somebody on the server um has one, and it's like again, it looks like a little axe. It's very plain, simple, just one piece of metal, and it's like a half the moon shape.
Hmm.
Um, and I use that for skiving, and it was dirt cheap, and I've been using it for years. I just sharpen it, you know.
Hmm. I don't have one of those. I have one of those Japanese knives, I guess the skiving knives.
Oh right, yeah.
Um,
What do you skiving? Yeah.
uh, I don't really do much skiving. I even have one of those. I have a skiving machine, and I'll use it because I tried to a few times and I hated it. It just went right through my leather. I was like, well, I could do that without paying for this machine. I don't need to buy this thing to be able to destroy leather.
I couldn't help but think that like I've got one of those rotor knife things, and I just thought I find it so handy at cutting leather anyway that I just thought maybe the moon knife
Oh,
wasn't
the
old tech in a way.
yeah, I know the rotor knife. I like those things for. You're talking about. Hmm. I have here. It is. You're talking about this thing.
I have to wait for the stream to catch up.
Like that.
Kind of like a pizza cutter thing, but
Yeah.
sharp.
Yeah. This thing is so sharp. It'll cut your fingers right off.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
pretty
those.
deadly.
Ooh.
But they're they're very. I find that they're very specific. The use case is very specific for them. Like if you're trying to cut suede, it's fantastic. If you're trying to cut a straight line, it's not really that great.
Yeah, I tend not to use my rotary blades except for on fabric.
Hmm.
I think I used it on hair, like hair on hide, like cowhide that was hair on,
Hmm.
so I could cut through the hair at the same time as making the cut through. But other than that, I don't use it on leather. I only use it on fabric.
Hmm.
And I think that's just because I have a hard time keeping consistent pressure through a long cut. And with a
Yeah,
rotary knife, that seems more important, you know?
yeah. Whenever I do um, the suede liners for things, I'll use a rotary knife for that because
Mm.
suede is really weird when I'm trying to cut it with like this knife, but it's it like it stretches a lot, and so as you're going, if you're like whenever I'm using a razor knife, if I'm trying to slice along with it with the razor knife, then it just takes so much time to try to keep straightening it out and so there's a delay between the video and what we're saying, huh? On the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to see if I can fix that because it's gonna make the stream weird.
I think for us talking here and chatting,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not visually seeing you, there's a delay because if we're watching you visually, that's where the delay is caused. But I think if you're actually watching just the stream on YouTube, I don't believe there's a delay, but I can double check. I'll just mute here and then listen in there.
Okay. Well, that would be good to know if the stream is delayed. I wonder how long it's delayed. I wonder if it's like 5 seconds or a minute. So, of course, Cosmic goes over there to listen, and we stop talking about it. How long was it delayed, Cosmic?
It's probably some really simple method. Like, I don't know, you hold up your finger and then count or something.
Yeah.
I was listening to the tape dispensing and watching on the stream, and actually the audio there is timed. Like it seems aligned.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So it's just between when I say things here and when you see them there.
Yeah.
At least that's
Yeah.
not as bad.
Yeah, we don't count. We're good.
Oh, my eyes are getting so bad. I can barely see these things. And it's right here. It's right here. Okay.
Downloaded
Oh,
a supplement for eyes. What was the supplement for eyes?
like vitamin K.
Yeah, there's another one. I'll look it up.
I take a lot of vitamin K. Doesn't seem to help any.
I had a weird thing happen to me when I started taking vitamin K. Like I suddenly I don't know, I felt like lightheaded or something.
Hmm.
Which I put down to my body adjusting to like the decalcification of my arteries because like the calcium in them was suddenly able to be moved because I had excess K in the system.
Thought you were going to say you suddenly started making a lot of money. I was like, I need to take more of that stuff.
No, sadly, I had the adverse effect of admittedly a very small amount going out of my bank account every time I bought it.
Throw away all the vitamin K.
I was looking at clay the other day, like, and I could not find any for like any reasonable price. It was like 1 kilogram was like £12, and then 25 kilograms was £25. It's like this doesn't make any sense to me. But then there was other suppliers that were supplying 25 kilograms for double the price. So obviously what they're doing is like just selling on what they're getting from these other suppliers. So maybe you could do that with vitamin K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a bit of a hassle.
I was watching somebody on YouTube. I think it was Mike Israetel who was talking about you don't have to buy the organic version of the vitamins because it's, you know, there's no such thing as organic vitamin K. It's just vitamin K. They're just putting the organic on there so they can charge you more. It's the same thing as the Walgreens version they sell for you $4. And still, we purchase the organic versions. I don't understand.
Marketing is very good. Marketing's very good over time, convincing people that organic equates to healthier,
Yeah.
but you know,
I remember when it started, I was like, what are you talking about? All food is
right?
organic. It's a carbon-based thing.
Oh, the literal organic got you.
No, bro, it's like made from clean products. What are you talking
Mm.
about? It's got pesticide, right? Right, but it's like clean pesticide. Right.
Lutein, that's what it's called. Lutein. Lutein.
Oh, lutein, yeah.
I do something weird and drink chrysanthemum tea for my eyes, which is a bit odd. But anyway.
Somebody at a chiropractor's office told me that you can do exercises with your eyes to improve your visual acuity by just looking. Like if you look to the left as far as you can look, and then roll your eyes up and over to the right as far as you can look without turning your head, and then go back and forth like that, like windshield wipers. Um,
Mm.
it will improve and they made a very convincing case. They said, you know, you spend a lot of time just looking straight ahead because you're sitting at a computer most of the time. So the muscles that are around your eyes begin to uh, lose some of their range and flexibility, I guess. I don't know. And I was like, that sounds like complete nonsense, and also I believe it.
I mean, it's all muscles. It's all muscles like controlling your eye movement, so it makes sense, I guess, to like exercise and stretch those muscles even.
Hmm.
But I mean, when you first hear it, it does kind of sound like, I'm looking around all the time, man. You don't need to tell me how to look with my eyes, right? But yeah,
They do have eye yoga. You can look up if you want.
really? There's eye yoga?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry. That sounds so
I
judgmental. I apologize.
I only go to I Hot Yoga.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Sorry, that was so dismissive. I apologize.
Oh,
It's
it's
okay.
fine.
It's okay to be dismissive of some things. I Yoga, I think, is probably safe.
For all I know, he works for Big Eye Yoga. So, like,
How did you know?
Big yoga.
big yoga, right?
I've almost got these things cut out. I think this is the last page I gotta do here. And then we can get started on placing these. On the leather.
Trust, trust is so funny. He's like, damn it, 8 semester of study and 100 grand in debt, and all you learned is how to roll your eyes. Oh my goodness. Apparently, that's all you need, bro.
I don't need anything else. Just this lamp and the ability to roll my eyes. That's it. I don't need anything else.
Well, I was looking at NVQ courses, which is A level. I'm guessing that's like last years of high school, kind of in the USA, but it's like a vocational type thing. So, but the one I was looking at was welding. There was
Mm.
like 2 years of welding, and I just couldn't fathom how anyone needed to spend 2 years going to school to weld. Like, surely it's just a case of, right, okay, here's 2 weeks welding, and then you crack on with it and get better at it.
Well,
Oh
you forgot
yeah.
about all the weld theory.
Yeah. I imagine there must be like that there's different scenarios, like different types of welding and like welding for different industries or whatever,
Yeah,
or grades of building or whatever. Maybe. I don't Here I am like just pulling stuff out of my butt. I don't know.
No, I think that's right.
Or out of my hat. Sorry, out of my hat.
Okay. So we've got these bits and pieces. Let's see what we can do as far as arranging them to be the most advantageous positioning on the leather. Maybe something like that. Okay. I don't know if you all use a plethora of shop rags like I do, but these things are fantastic. and they don't cost very much. It's like $16 for these blue towels. You'll
Oh,
you'll see that on the stream in a minute.
yeah, I can see it. That's a. Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. This is. I wonder how this is supposed to fit together. Like this.
Oh, I missed it. You know, I missed the opportunity. Blue Towel sponsorship. Let's go.
Indeed. Alright, so that goes like that. And then this. Hopefully these are going to be big enough from. Yeah, I think this can be big enough. Yeah. Should be fine. Famous last words. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
It probably will work. It probably will, though. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Let's stick some leather onto. Hmm. Not a huge fan of this colada now. It looked all right when I was in the store, but now it's kind of bothering me. But whatever. Looks like there's a good enough spot here. What's that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is it like a texture thing? You're looking at it?
Um, there's just some. It's like a. This was a cheap version, or a cheap piece of leather, I guess you might call it. So
Like
it's
a craft grade, maybe, or
yeah, it looks like it's probably a craftsman grade or economy, maybe closer to the economy grade.
you can
It's
make out with really good pieces for that, though.
yeah, and I mean I think it was only $90.
Nice.
You got a pretty good sized piece here, but it's it's pretty hairy on the back, in some areas, and there's a big scar down here at the bottom.
So,
I'm trying just to avoid that, and then avoid the brand. And try to still have something left for the other side.
When you say brand, do you mean like the iron they grilled into the cow's hide?
Yes.
Perfect. So where do you get your leather from, then? Is it Tandy or?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Tandy about 45 minutes from my house. So I went up there this morning and got some stuff that I needed. Um, all right. This is all exceptionally time-consuming stuff, but it does really help whenever you're trying to get the most out of your leather, and you're trying to make a pattern or use a pattern. Um, I've tried this several different ways, and this seems to, it's a pain in the butt, but it seems to be the best way for using these kind of patterns. Just get some tape and tape your patterns down to the leather where you want them to go, and then you cut them out. Well, first you want to cut the piece out, right, before you cut the individual pieces out. And the reason for that is that you want to have um, a way to punch all of your holes before you start cutting the pieces out individually, because that's way easier um, when you're trying to get that done. I just ran.
I agree. I think, yeah, I punch my holes before I cut out the actual piece as well. Because I've found that, like, when you cut out the individual piece and then you punch the holes, sometimes the leather gets distorted at the edges.
Mhm.
Or, yeah, I don't know if you found that as well.
Yeah, and you can easily run off the edge of the leather when you're punching the holes. If you're,
Mm-hmm.
if you cut the edge just a little too close, and then you go to punch the hole, and now all of a sudden, the pattern has shifted a little bit, and the edge was cut a little bit too far in, and you punch the hole, and now you've got a lump there on the side of your leather where the tool came through, or it was,
Mm-hmm.
pushing the leather out. That's happened a few
Sometimes I'll
times.
even cut extra, like, off to the side and leave, like, a couple of extra millimeters so that um, when I'm joining two pieces, if I'm gluing and I've got holes, then I'll have excess that I can cut around so that I have a very smooth edge oh my god, I can't remember words. I'm just seeing it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
How do I put this? But yeah, if I'm burnishing it, I want it to be as smooth and aligned as possible. So if I cut it at the same time once it's joined, I'll need to have that extra space on the edge as well. So sometimes I cut extra, like leave a gap extra. Oh my god, look.
Yes.
No work today. Words are hard.
I can't spell things with my face. Yeah.
It's just compounded by the fact that it's like, oh no, this is a stream. You should know.
I was the same. I had a work meeting uh, last night. So I work on Pacific time, and
Uh,
this this guy scheduled a work meeting at like 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. my time.
oh,
And I was like, yeah, this is not going to go well. And I'm like dozing in and out the whole time, and then I'm, the periods where I'm managing to stay awake. Uh, I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't need to be on this call. Everything you're talking about is technical. I'm not a technical person. This is not for me.
oh,
But I sent the guy a message. I was like, hey, man, no more scheduling calls at this time on Friday.
yeah. Wow. We started using this is obviously I'm not trying to like place a product or anything, but we started using Calendly
Uh-huh.
so that if anybody wanted to schedule a call, they would see the work hours and it would adjust to like what their time zone was. So it's kind of made it a little bit easier to avoid that, but it still happens occasionally. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I haven't used that too much, but it's a nice tool.
Yeah, it can be helpful.
I had a boss. He was in Singapore and I live in the UK, and he just wouldn't had no like concept of like other people's like time schedules. So he would be phoning me up at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and he'd be like, "Oh, you've got to get on and do this for me now." And it's like, "Dude, you've just woken me up. Fuck off." Of
Oh
course, I
dear.
said it a lot more politely than that. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to swear on stream. Sorry.
That's all right.
Bugger off.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
I didn't work for him for very long for that reason alone, and others.
Yeah, I
I think
wouldn't.
it becomes. Sorry, after you.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna make chitter chatter. I was just kind of like gonna go with where the conversation was heading, but
Me too. It's all right.
what? What? Who'd have thunk? No. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think it's just it becomes so easy now, or at least I think it's become easier for us to kind of get lost in the weeds when it comes to time zones because so much is done online
Hmm.
and so much, there's a lot more international business at more accessible business levels. Like, it's not all just like huge industries that are communicating across nations or like across the ocean or whatever. Like, you've got people that are legitimately in different countries that are on the same teams working through stuff and just in regular business transactions throughout the day or daily business work. So I don't know. It's become one of those things where those lines get muddled and blurred so much more easily. At least that has been my experience with jobs that I've been doing since working more on the internet and stuff like that.
Yep.
Be as vague as possible.
No, we have. I have right now 7 teams. 7? Yeah, I think it's 7 teams that I work with. That um, people on the team. The people on the team aren't even in the same geographic location. Like they're just distributed everywhere.
Yeah.
You might have one person in Colorado, one person in India, one person in South America. And it's crazy, and they're all willingly working on Pacific time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Is like there's got to be some expected business hours that we're all kind of aligned to if we have customers that we have to interact with, you know.
yep. I got several people that I work with in the Philippines, and it's 12 hours difference between where I live and where they live. And I'm always like, 3 p.m. here for me, it's 3 a.m. there for them. And they've been working just as long as me. Like, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, when I was in the military, I used to have to do, the night shift, and it was
Mhm.
similar because you're just up all night working. But I can't imagine that being like, oh yeah, you're on the forever night shift.
Well, yeah. And not necessarily for like the kind of job that I mean, if you're in the military or like, you're in a position where it it's critical in some way, shape, or form for the general running of it. Whereas for like businesses like regular work stuff, like civilian industry, I don't know, it just doesn't feel unless it's like something with medical or science, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm showing my naivety, like with like how things work in the world, just because maybe my experience is pretty limited. Like I've done sales and now I work in software as a service,
Mm-hmm.
and beyond that, I've never had to experience a work life where it was critical for someone to be on call at night. You know?
Yeah. Well, there's with so I work in media, and you know you have shows running 24 hours a day, and if the streaming service is not operating the way that it's supposed to, uh, you're talking about millions of dollars in some cases per minute that are just
Oh
being
wow.
lost. And it depends on how severe the problem is, but that's not something that's uncommon. With all the
Whoa.
advertising and just the audience reach, if you got a service down, um, there's just a potential for a lot of interruption of money, and that's something that the executives tend to frown on that. It's like they get really irritated by it.
I don't get it. Why? Why? What's wrong?
Yeah, we were down for 3 hours last night. Ah!
I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. It's certainly a way to reframe it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think about it like that before I got into it. I just thought, I mean, who cares if your stupid program doesn't work? And then I was like, oh, that's why. All right. I think I think this is the last piece. Right there. We should be able to start cutting it up. Oh. So I'm going to cut this out. All right.
So, backpedaling for a second to talking about pre-punched holes, Trust had said, I'm not a fan of the pre-punched holes on the satchel. I went back to using my diamond chisel and gluing the edges.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, he also said, I used to work 4 years straight night shift in a cheese factory. You just get used to it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess kind of like it just becomes part of your habit and the structure of things, so yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. How do I? Oh, there we go. Lord Ravenfire. Okay. All right. So I'll show you the. I'm gonna drink my cold coffee, and then I'll show you the tape job that we did.
I'm so sloppy with taping. Do a hack job at taping. I bet your taping looks spot on.
I mean, it's
No
just tape.
pressure.
Now I'm
Like,
not. Now I'm not
yeah.
going to show you.
What's that?
I said, now I'm not going to show you. You built it up too much.
Oh. Oh no. The scrutinizing eyes don't get a chance to look.
So that's what we're going for anyway. We want to try to minimize the amount of space that's wasted in between each of the things here. So now, um, on, I don't know if you can see this, but on Magnus's patterns, for those who don't know, there are lots of little holes here. Those are all the holes that you're going to punch. There's a larger hole in some spots, right? So there's like a double hole. That's for a rivet. So you can use just rivets, or you can sew it, or you can do both. But that would be crazy, right, Gator?
So you're gonna punch it and sew it.
Uh, well, I didn't sew any of the other pieces. So I think I'm probably just going to rivet these together.
Yeah.
So I need to get my drive punch that fits that size. I think this is it. Yeah, that's the one. All right. Now you get to listen to the pounding.
My favourite. I'm also gonna go and make a cup of coffee.
When I first looked at this pattern and I saw all these little holes on here, I started to get a little nervous because for my wife's backpack, there are 1,000 little holes that you have to punch.
Oh, is it pretty fine? Like,
And
yeah.
I thought, I don't want to punch a whole bunch of these damn holes again. Please, no more holes.
Dad, the thing that ends up, like, the only thing that gets me through is the previous experience of having looked at a finished product that has so many holes in it, like so many fine stitch marks, that I'm like, oh, it makes it look that much more polished.
Yeah.
Like, it looks better at the end if it has like that level of finish. But that's the only thing. I don't know if you've ever like looked at it and just been like, no, I'm good, and just walked away. I have. I have for sure. Or like, oh, I wonder if I could just simplify this, like space these out. But the times where I've stuck with it and I've actually done all of the little holes, and like fine detail and stuff like that, it's always been a struggle, but then in the end it always seems like it's worth it. I'm sure you've probably experienced that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work at the beginning, but you know, it's one of those things like the backpack. I started punching the holes for it, but I had to stare at the holes for like 3 days before I started. I was like, I don't want to punch those holes.
Oh, dude.
But then once I started, it wasn't that bad. You know, it was like I think it took me about an hour to get all the holes punched for
Yeah.
the main body of the bag. So I hope
I
Magnus
feel like
placed these holes right.
what's that?
I hope Magnus placed these holes right because I'm just punching them. I'm on autopilot right now. What were you gonna say?
Um, oh, I don't know. It's escaped me. I'm not sure. I don't have much of a filter, so when something pops into my brain, I'm just like blah blah blah. And then if I don't say it, it's gone. If I do say it, it's also gone. So it's
We'll get these cut out. After I get these holes punched, we'll get the rest of the pieces cut out, and then start the carving.
Trust said the last time I used those holes, I stuck my 1 millimeter punch in a power drill.
Hmm.
Table drill would be even better. So I'm guessing it's like more of like just a quick automated process kind of thing.
Like a portable or like a press?
Yeah, I think he mentioned he put it in his power drill, so I'm guessing that's portable. And then he said a table drill would be even better.
I could see where you could do if you had a drill bit and a drill press, a drill bit that would fit this hole size and a drill press that would be pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. I have a punch press, so I can punch without having to like pound. Because I think you probably remember this, but like when I was first starting out, I've got downstairs neighbors and we live in an apartment, and I was like, oh no, those poor guys downstairs. So I got a punch press so that I could, work on leather quietly, for the most part, and that has been helpful. But the amount of leather that I can put under the press before it hits the back, so like the depth for it is pretty limited. I end up having to double over leather if I want to work with some pieces that have holes that are a little deeper set into the design or the pattern. So it takes a little bit of creativity, but you can get there. But yeah, I think if I had something that was more like an actual drill press, there tends to be a lot more space behind, or maybe it's just the model of punch press that I have is like fairly limited. I don't know. Still works though.
Well, that's all that matters. Whatever works.
Yeah. Whatever works and keeps me from getting evicted, or like having my partner pull his hair out or my neighbor pull his hair out. I just want to craft in peace. We cannot, or like at least I cannot hear you punching at all.
Oh, that's good.
Can't hear any of those pounds.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried that they were going to be all over the stream. Okay, almost done here. So one of the things that I do with punching holes like this, whenever I tape the pattern down, is I intentionally try to tape up onto the paper, and I'll show you what I mean. So like, let's see, if you can see on maybe like this piece here, I don't know if you can see where the tape line is. I try to keep the tape line over the hole. And the reason for that is I've noticed that whenever I try to just go through the paper, it's uh, the punch sticks in the paper, but the tape actually acts like a lubricant. So
Huh.
it's a lot easier to get the punch out if you've got tape over the hole that you're trying to punch into.
Oh, that's smart. It's creating like a stiffer edge that it's going through, so it's cleaner for it to pull against, as opposed to paper, which is softer, which is more likely to grip it as you're pulling the punch out.
Yeah,
Kinda.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like when you push your punch into the beeswax and it's mildly lubricated.
Mm.
But whatever it is, it's a lot easier. Like I can twist it with my left hand, which is generally my weaker hand, to get it to pull out without having to really crank on it. You know?
I'm definitely gonna have to try that because I have been taping along the edges, but I've been avoiding covering as much of the holes because I was afraid that it would get gummy, and maybe it does depend also on the tape. Like if I was using invisible tape as opposed to glossy tape, it might be better. Like invisible tape tends to be less sticky, so that you can like remove it again without leaving a residue behind. So I
Yeah.
wonder if, yeah, I'll give that a try. Because I also find that the bit or like the punch sticks on the paper when I'm pulling it away, even in the press.
Yeah. And it absolutely does matter um, what kind of tape you're using. I use the invisible tape as well.
Hmm.
Um, the but the punch itself also matters. Like for this hole size, this punch, which is one of those the punches that the words I can't think of words. I got it from Tandy. It's one of these kits, right? Like the multi-punch kit. That's what it's called. Right. So one of those. That that punch there, and you'll see that in a second. But it's that for this size hole, which is good for rivets, the this punch is fine. But if I was trying to use tape over the holes on, say, the really tiny ones, then it can get gummed up pretty quickly. And then
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta like try to use like a paper clip or something to push the paper out of the punch hole. All right.
I think I may have the same punch for hand punching. I think I have that one with the screw bits on the end, so you can adjust the holes and use the same like actual like oh gosh, I can't
Barrel.
remember what. Yeah, the barrel. Thank you. But yeah, I have one of those, and I noticed that because the taper, like it's like a cone shape, whereas when I'm using the punch press, I'm using bits that are about the same diameter throughout the width of the whole barrel of it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get stuck as much. Like there is a little bit of a taper, but it's not as steep an angle or like severe an angle. And I've noticed that that has made a world of difference for that too. So Yeah, I don't know. I guess it just. I'm making an observation that is going nowhere. Essentially, I'm just. I'm just stating the obvious, but it's just something that I hadn't really thought about before.
Cool.
Trust Life sticks its whole punch in beeswax.
Yeah, I do that too. I don't know where my little block that I normally use went, but oh, there it is. I think I may have shown these before, but I make these little discs like this with my beeswax so that I can run them across the edges of things. But I also have a little abused block here that's got holes and it's been rubbed over things and stabbed so many times. it's
Oh.
crazy. But they, yeah, pressing, you can do that with your chisels, and stitching chisels do really well if you press them into the beeswax before you try to run a stitch line. All right, let's see if we can cut these things out. Strop it. Strop it, strop it.
Bop it. Twist it.
I still haven't changed the blade on this razor knife. I've been using this blade for almost a year, and I strop it every single time I cut.
Wow.
It's still really, really sharp.
I wish I had started off doing that because I think I might have mentioned this before, but like a backlog of dull blades that I've taken off and obviously switched them out because I got one of those replacement packs that has the receptacle to put in the old blade and take out the new blade. But now I've just got a bunch of old blades that are waiting to get stropped and probably never will because I'll never replace the next blade until it's like so worn down or breaks by accident or something. How many years have you had that and been using it like that? Or is it just months?
Just 1 year.
1 year?
Yep.
It really does pay to just do the little bit of work, right?
Yeah, and I even bought a whole bunch of razor blades thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to replace this like every other time I do anything. But no. If you just keep it stropped, it's fine. Hmm.
Oh, Magnus is in the audience
Oh, hey, Magnus.
in the server.
Let's see. There you go. Come on up, Magnus.
Heyo.
Hello.
Hello.
This is good.
How's it going?
Can hear you.
I strop them right out of the box.
Very nice.
No dilly dallying. I think I've been a total slacker when it comes to stropping my blades. I don't strop them out of the box. I'll just replace it, and then I'm like, eh. And then a while after, I'll strop it. But yeah, I've tried to get better about staying on top of a clean blade because, as we all know, a dull blade is a dangerous blade.
Yes, that's true. All right, so we got these two pieces here that have the design on them. I'll cut the rest of that out later. We can go ahead and start doing some tooling. Hooray!
Already on to tooling.
Let's see. This is a disaster. Oh, nice. Le chat. Let's see if we can get this one down here. And then maybe see if I can get that to zoom in a little bit.
It's a fancy coffee cup you got there, sir.
Thank you.
Very classy.
And then we'll move this one. Okay. See if that. See if that works. All right. So there's the Vivid Life. We got our two pieces here. Get some light. Oh, and for anybody who was on the stream a couple of weeks ago, when I did I carved that little piece. Oh, here it is. This little piece of scrap. Right. So here's what the finished product looks like. Yeah, think of it that way. So not bad.
Oh, nice.
That's phenomenal.
The top-down cam is a Logitech Brio, and then the other one is Logitech C920, I think. Yeah. All right.
Those look really good.
Thank you.
They do.
Okay, so here is, that needs to go over there. Yeah. Now, with all the lights that I have found that there's still not enough light. So I have to do this. I'll be wearing a Spelunker's flashlight on my forehead so that I can actually see what I'm doing. All right.
If it works, it works.
That's right. Okay, I have my stylus. I have my beveling tool. I got my background in here somewhere.
Coal mining gear.
We're going in.
There's that one. And then I need a piece of plastic to do the scribing. Thought I had a little piece of saran wrap down here somewhere. It looks like it has walked away. Let me try this. Which one should I do first? The little one or the big one? Well, let's do the big one. Do the big one first. Oh yeah. Let me see if I can turn that off. Yeah. That better? I don't know if it's looks like it might still be mildly focusing. Whatever. If it doesn't work, just try harder.
It's hard to tell because if you're not looking down at it, we can't see if there's blowout.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the focus. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we'll just let that dry for a second. So, is this thing moving around? Is that what's going on here? Camera is shifting.
Is it on a swivel arm?
No, it's just like balanced on the
Oh, okay.
edge of the monitor here. So if it shifts around, just let me know and I'll try to adjust it back. I'm sure it will as soon as I begin tooling on this thing. Let's see. Kind of get into a zen state whenever I'm doing this. Until I run into a giant letter G in the middle of the pattern.
Do you need us to make whale noises?
This could be an interactive ASMR.
Mm.
Oh. Every time I try to do a whale impersonation, which is often, actually, surprisingly, I realize I sound more like a wolf. And I'm like, darn it. A skill set I never thought I'd have to work on, but I guess I need to improve.
For all those times when sounding like a whale is really important.
I know, right? All those social events where I just let everyone know.
You're called upon to sound like a whale. Hey, can you sound like a whale? We need someone who can sound like a whale immediately.
And I'm so confident about it too. I'm like, of course. Ah, woo! Like, okay, you're done.
I
Get out of
got you.
here. I got you, fam.
Sure. That's a great effort. We'll give you a call.
Why didn't they ever call back? Man.
Sometimes you just forget which line you went over already.
Hey, Gator.
Hey, Gator.
You're muted.
Ah, what's up, Gator?
Gator is currently muted.
He probably wandered away.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Hey.
Hello.
No, I'm here.
We hear you.
All
We
right,
hear you.
all right, good. I just got all the armor off and came inside and saw that you're streaming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just trying to get the Greaves going here. I think that's got...
It took 2 people to get the Greaves on my calf.
Very nice.
Why is that?
Yeah, why was that? Did you have the other parts of the armor on already? Greaves first.
Mm-hmm.
No, I had to get the hauberk on first.
The what?
For ease of putting it on, I always start at the bottom and work my way up.
Yeah. All right. Let me go strop this real quick.
Do you think about that when you're designing them? That how easy is this going to be to put on?
Mostly. Sometimes I go off script. Like when I was designing those Greaves with the slotted backs and how the buckles were gonna face, and compared to like which way the straps were, I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but this is how I want it to look. So
Yeah.
All right.
I suppose the chest plates are probably the hardest in some ways. At least to get on.
It's well, I never realized why people needed squires until I had my own armor and tried to put it on by myself, and I was like, oh, this is why. It's it is definitely a level of effort that I was not prepared for.
that's heating up.
Was it minus?
I'm here.
I think it was Gator. I didn't hear what you said, Gator. I'm not sure anyone else did.
I think I heard headset. Have to step away.
Oh, yeah. Sounded like your headset was turned down pretty low.
Hear me better.
It's really quiet. Well, this culotta, it's like, it's nice and smooth while I'm carving it, but I'm not sure I like it really.
What about it is giving you hesitation? Is there anything that you can quantify?
It just feels very soft somehow. I don't know. Like it's a little too. I mean, it's not too wet. You know, I didn't put any more water on it than I normally do.
Is it like spongy?
Yeah,
Like it's
maybe.
dried of all the oils or something?
Could be. Maybe I'm just imagining objections to it for some reason.
Oh, like you get Advil versus store brand, and because you paid more for Advil, you think it's going to be better, but they might be exactly the same product kind of thing, or
Yeah.
something else.
No, that's probably. You got your built-in bias. This is not
It's
my
weird, like
favorite thing.
behavioral. Sorry, what were you saying? I cut you off. I apologize.
I was just saying, this is not my favorite one. I like
Oh,
the one I always use.
where's the one I'm comfortable with?
That's right.
So you're in the Navy there, Dad?
Yeah, yeah, for almost 11 years. It was a lot of fun seeing the
I can't.
world one red light district at a time.
I mean, I enjoy. enjoyed my time in the Navy. I didn't like the injuries I sustained from being in it.
Yeah. There are definitely some drawbacks. It's, it's weird, right? It's like a brotherhood, but it's also like not really. I don't know how many people you still talk to from your time in the service, but I think maybe 2 or 3 people, um, and not on a regular basis. I've seen people do these in a couple of different ways. I like to bevel down uh, like this, right? So I'll go around the little knob there and bevel down everything. I just think I like the way it looks.
I might be back later. Got some stuff to do.
Later, Magnus.
Bye bye.
Let's see. Let me go. Like that. So anybody making anything cool this weekend?
I'm gonna log out for a second and come back in. My audio is all kinds of jacked up.
Okay. The German army. The trust was in the German army. Huh?
I should finish up one of my lens caps holders. But I've been procrastinating a little bit.
Did you say lens cap?
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, so what does that entail? What is that about?
Well, I just get paranoid every time I go out shooting with my camera that I'm going to lose my lens cap. It's like this paranoia that I have. And I have actually lost it once and had to like search around in the undergrowth in the forest I was in to find it.
Oh, got you. So you're making like a
And like a little pouch thing that goes on the camera strap that I can just slide it into, and like a magnetic clip or a push button clip to store it in.
very cool.
It's awesome. This speaking of magnetic stuff, this backpack that I'm making for my wife has it's the first little magnetic closure that I'm working with. So
Oh wow.
it'll be interesting.
Is it kind of one of those like button snaps but magnetic?
Yeah, it's. I'll show you in a second. But I got. It's like the tongue that holds the top of the bag closed has a little magnet in the end of it. But you have to actually put it in there.
Oh, it's embedded in the leather.
Yeah.
Like in between layers of leather.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. What kind of photography do you do, Peas and Rice?
I just sort of take photos of mushrooms mainly. Like I'm kind of into mushrooms,
Awesome.
but I'm more of an amateur than any sort of professional. And I only kind of started about 2 years ago.
Mushrooms are so cool. Like
Yeah.
mycelium, really cool. Just yeah. Fungus is awesome, and slime as well. Although slime is a little bit grosser, I found to like, you know, but of that same sort of family or ilk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the. Let's see if I can get the. I don't know. Is that too washed out?
So it's a little bright, but when you look away, when the spotlight's not directly on it, it's really good. Wow, that's so clean.
It is. You are very good at that.
Really
Not too bad.
symmetrical.
All right. So let's.
And modest too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. When I do these things, I don't know how you all do them, but whenever I do them, I do these buckles first. I don't think it makes any difference where you start, really, but for some reason I like to do the buckles first, and then I'll start working through the rest of the curves. I don't know why I do that. I just like it.
I pick a random spot and then instantly regret it, but it's too late. So if you got if you got a method, I love watching this because you actually follow like some sort of protocol or steps. Like you make it. I'm not saying that it is easy, but you make it look easy. I don't know. I just need to get better at following steps better. I don't know. Because it just becomes chaos, and then I found I have to come back later and fix little parts where I missed or skipped part just because I started somewhere random.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That honestly, that was um, one of the challenges that I faced when I first started because I was
Yeah.
just like popping all over the place, and
Yeah.
I think it was Magnus's um, the tree, the first tree pattern, the artwork that he did right with all the roots and the thing. I think he used it on a shoulder piece or something. I don't remember. Maybe it was
Hmm.
a bracer. But that piece of artwork I carved. It was like the first thing that I carved, and I realized I'm not going to be able to do this if I don't follow some kind of a process.
Right.
You know, like I'm going to lose my spot, and I'm going to forget what I'm working on, and it's just going to look like trash. So
Yeah.
I was like, I might as well just do everything in kind of an orderly fashion.
Smart, honestly.
So like those, those decorative cuts where they go, like that underneath the, um, like there's a little, you know, piece over and a piece under, and so he usually puts these decorative cuts on the piece that goes under. Uh, I will forget which ones I've done and which ones I haven't done, and it takes me a long time to get those done because I'm always, okay, did I get the matching one for this? All right, I get this one, but then I got to get the other side.
I think for the Satchel 3, that was probably one of the most complex, or I don't even know if it was that complex, but like for some reason I had such a hard time completing the carving for that. And I reckon I was just at a point where I had no reserves of energy and I was trying to complete the project.
Mm.
I was just running on fumes because like work stuff and life stuff, and I just felt like I didn't have time. And all these other excuses, all the excuses. I got it done, obviously, but there was a part of me that was just like, oh my gosh, I need to bail because I'm missing entire lengths of this filigree, like entire sections of it, like strips on one side are completely, uncarved or not beveled at all or any of that. So just, yeah, I think I went back about 3 different times to try to finish that carving. And usually I'll finish a carving in one sitting. And I don't think it was because the pattern was particularly complex. I think it was just, yeah, I don't know, maybe bad timing. I think
Yeah,
sometimes it really does make a difference um, if you're in the right headspace, you need to make room for the project. Oh, Gator was asking if he can come back in to
oh yeah,
the chat. I
there
think he
you go.
doesn't have a way to get in otherwise, though.
Yeah, Welcome back.
Is it working better this time?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't do technology well. So I cheated. I turned my TV on to YouTube, and I'm using my phone for the Discord.
Nice.
Or whatever works.
Hacking the system.
Well, because I was trying to do them both on my phone, and I was getting double feed and everything else, and my headset was being a pain in the butt because you guys couldn't hear me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I was saying, it took my son and my daughter to get the Greaves on over my boots, and I know put the Greaves on first, but I have a 50-pound hauberk I got to throw over me first, and I kind of have to squat and everything, and I can't squat with the Greaves on.
Yeah, that chainmail that you have, man, that is crazy. Do you make all that stuff yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a scale mail dress right now.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
One of my coworkers, she does pinup photos, like the World War II nose art pinups.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew I did chainmail and stuff as well as I'm now doing leather. And she wanted to do a, lack of a better term, slutwear for the photo shoot. So I'm making a very revealing chainmail or scale mail dress for her.
Wow. That sounds really cool.
But I don't do scale mail a lot because the inside of the scale, while the outside looks really cool, looks like fish scales or whatever, the inside of it looks like a cheese grater. And she does not intend to wear anything underneath this dress. And I was like,
Oof.
okay, how do I do this where she does not, get an involuntary piercing somewhere? So I'm actually going to take 4-ounce chrome tan leather and line the whole inside of the mail with leather so that she doesn't get the cheese grater up against her skin.
Very thoughtful. I'm sure she'll really appreciate that.
She didn't know anything about it. She's like, oh yeah, this looks cool. This looks cool. She's sitting there on Google Images and, oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. I'm like, do you understand what the inside of that looks like? Well, no. So I showed her some pictures that I had on my phone of some of the scale stuff I did. She goes, oh no, oh no.
Oh, no.
And I said, yeah, and it's cold when you put it on, which there's parts of the human anatomy that act adversely when you're cold. I don't think you want that up against it.
Cold, pinchy metal on your naughty bits. Doesn't sound like fun.
So she hasn't paid me yet, so this kind of is a prototype of sorts that I'm building to verify that my idea will work before I say, oh yeah, I can do this. Because when you're talking about $1,000 dress, you better make sure it's fucking right.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely needs to be done in a wearable way.
So the top front is kind of like a halter top. It's going to come up to her neck. There's going to be leather going around her neck so that the scales doesn't create pinch points from the weight of it on her neck. So I'm going to make a leather strap for the neck. The back is completely open. The front is, it comes down to a point towards her belly button and then it opens back up for her nether regions. but she wants the sides completely open. So I'm going to take some 24 gauge welded stainless steel chain. So there'll be these really fine chains that connect the front and back together, but you can still see that. No, she's not wearing anything under this. The bottom of the skirt's going to be kind of thinking like Melina from Mortal Kombat, how the legs are totally exposed and you just have like this loincloth of material in the front. That's kind of, but it goes almost to the knee. That's kind of what I'm doing with the scales here.
That sounds pretty cool.
My wife took some of the photos of the previous photo shoot we did before I had the Greaves and posted it on Facebook at some Ren Fair site where people try and get ideas for costumes or whatever. And evidently it like blew up from hell because, oh, where'd you get the leather armor? Blah, blah, blah. Where'd you get the chainmail? Holy shit, how'd you get the pattern in the chainmail? Blah, blah, blah. And now I'm playing 1,001 questions with people in freaking Germany and Scotland and everywhere else, trying to tell them that it's a mathematical equation because the ring count is the same for every row. It's just there's 3 different ring sizes, and you just change the ID of the ring for certain spots to create that diamond pattern.
Sounds like you're helping a lot of people figure it out. Hopefully they can make something similar, I guess, if they want to. Sounds like you're inspiring people, basically. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's in the chainmail community, it's called a monochromatic inlay.
Oh, okay.
You can do the same illusion using different colored rings. I'm not a fan of using aluminum, anodized aluminum or anything because it ends up getting scratched or whatever, and then it exposes the raw aluminum underneath. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with raw aluminum, but it turns you black.
Oh,
because the aluminum off. So I don't like using it, especially if it's going to be in contact with skin for that very reason. And I learned this lesson from my first hauberk I made. I made it out of 12 gauge standard wire gauge aluminum, bright aluminum. And I didn't have a mannequin at the time, so I'm using my son as a mannequin as I'm building this thing. And I kept, why are you always getting black when you put this thing on? And then it took me a second to realize, oh, that's rub off from the aluminum oxide. Oh, there we go. Much better view.
Yeah, that camera starts to slide down because it's just kind of balanced. Let me see if I can fix it so that it stays there.
Yeah, I must have one hell of a delay from the YouTube to the Discord voice. Looks to be about 20 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah. I don't know why there's such a delay. There's probably something in my settings that I need to change.
Well, my internet is satellite internet, so even when Magnus does a live stream or whatever, I've probably got a 4 or 5 second delay even with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, YouTube has to bounce it, doesn't it? So that's going to take some time.
Why is it? Let me see if maybe if I turn this camera off. Let's see. This one. If I turn it off and turn it back on. It's still trying to auto adjust. So
I like your headset idea
it
in one aspect, but I can't stand having anything on my head. I've got the Milwaukee shop lights. They're like 2,500 looms or whatever. I got 2 of those, and then a 5,000 loom LED shop light over, bar light over my block that I carve on.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing micro mail, I have magnifying glass with a light on it that I use, so I can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've got a ring light there and a ring light here with a magnifying glass on it. See that thing? And try to get as much light on these things as I can. I've got all these can lights in the ceiling that are supposed to produce a lot of light, but whenever I sit down here, it's like I'm in a shadow constantly. So I had to get this
Oh yeah.
headlamp thing from Home Depot to try to make sure that I can actually see the line that I'm trying to carve or bevel.
Yeah, my dungeon in the basement of my house. The whole family refers to it as the dungeon for some reason. We have 4 pot lights in here, and the same thing. They're supposed to light up the room. Well, yeah, you can light up the room so you don't trip and kill yourself, but to use it as a shop, it's not enough. So that's why I have the extra shop lights and stuff. And I can move, if I'm doing chainmail, micromail, and I need some extra light, I can always grab my Milwaukee light and move it in and blast the area with light.
Yeah.
If because my daughter does a lot of my painting and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because my hands shake so bad, I've got nerve damage, mostly from doing chainmail. My nerves are just wrecked because I don't know if you've ever tried doing chainmail. It's abusive, more so than leatherworking, especially if you're doing titanium, because you're forcing a metal to do something it does not want to do. So my hands constantly shake and everything else, and I can't. I mean, I could draw and everything, but straight lines are not possible for me.
Yeah. Guess I should give that a minute to dry. That sucks, man. But the painting is really nice. So your daughter's doing a fantastic job.
Yep. And she has nerve damage too, so I mean, the fact that she's able to do it as well as she does is freaking shocking. Her nerve damage just stems from a medical misadventure. I think is the best way to put it.
That sucks.
It wasn't your fault. I was watching one of your old videos, I guess from like 4 months ago. You're still working you're working on something else, but had to go back on the cuirass and do something on that, and you're talking about your wetness level of your leather when you're tooling, and it is a personal preference. You like yours a little bit more wet.
Yeah.
Some of the centerpiece of my cuirass. I don't remember it was probably a month ago. Mag was going through some of his leathers, and he come across this leather. I guess it was for like soles, boot soles or something. It was really compressed, thick, hard leather. The center of my cuirass is actually made of those 16-ounce sole bend leather. Tooling that, I almost wanted to use a sledgehammer instead of a maul.
Yeah, I thought about using some skirting for these Greaves, and I was like, I haven't worked with anything over 12 ounces at all. So when I was talking to the guy up at Tandy, and I was telling him, well, everything else is 10 to 12 ounce. It's like, I don't know if I want to get some saddle skirting and try that. He said, no, you don't.
Yeah, the rest of mine, it's the four centerpieces of the front and back is the only thing you use that heavy 16-ounce stuff on. The rest of the side pieces, I think I used regular skirting, which was 16-ounce, but it was not as compressed and hard, so there's some flexibility to it. But the rest of it's all like yours, 10, 12 ounce. We were at O a couple weekends ago, the last weekend of O-Ren, and some guy, he was wearing a suit that he made using Black Raven pattern. And, where'd you get that pattern? Dark Horse Workshop, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what kind of leather did you use? And he's sitting there poking me in the chest, and he ends up breaking his fingernail.
Yeah. Those
Quality.
Those Black Raven, they look nice, but I'd be like, there's so much like decoration, I guess, that goes into it. I don't think I could ever use it for anything other than a costume. Like these are decorative, but they're not like, okay, we're gonna do camouflaging all across the outside of the piece, and also do tooling on the inside, and we're gonna use it's
too busy.
It's like that, right? Like that's like the equivalent of Black Raven level of tooling. 7 or 8 different kinds of tools that you're putting on these things, and then also with all of the different the way that they do the dyeing is really cool, but man, it's like, and Prince Armory is cool, but it's almost as bad. It's just like,
I love the outfits from Prince Armory. But one, I hate rapid rivets. There was another guy there that was wearing a Prince. He had the which one was it? Because he made the hood and everything else. I can't remember which one it was from Prince Armory. And you used the rapid rivets. He had popped like 3 or 4 rivets. It was the first time he had worn it there, and he popped several rivets just moving around and everything. I'm just like, that's why I don't like using things.
Yep. Yeah, I was real hesitant to use the solid brass rivets at first, and then I don't remember exactly what happened. I was putting something together, and I was using rapid rivets on it, and that happened. Uh, I bent it in a one direction while I was trying to put one of the other rivets in on the other side, and the head just popped off, and I was like,
Hmm.
no, we're not, we're not going to be doing that. But everything on my armor is all done with solid brass peened rivets, and I mean, I've worn it 7 or 8 times, I guess, since beginning of August, and I mean, it's still just as strong now as it was then.
I use different rivets than Mag does, though.
Hmm.
His rivets are what, 1/8? The shank of them, I think they're 1/8 inch.
I'm not sure.
I think I'm not positive on that. Or no, yeah, I think they are. But the ones I get from Weaver, they're labeled as number 9s.
That's
They
what I use.
all right. So those are five. The shanks of them are 5/32, I think, or yeah, 5/32. Those things are beasts.
Hmm.
The number 12s. My son he made the Gorget, and then he didn't like how it turned out, so he kind of like quit because he didn't know how to figure out how he wanted to change it. But he's using number 12s, and they're a little bit thinner. I think they're 1/8 post, and they're still plenty strong, mind you.
Hmm.
They're a lot easier to cut and peen down.
Those
Those
that
are actually the ones I use on my Copenhagen holsters, is the 1/8 ones.
that might be what I use actually. I do have some number nines, but I think I've used number 12s for all the armor. I'll have to look and
Yeah,
see.
the number I have are all dome heads. They don't make at least Weaver doesn't carry a dome head number 12.
Yeah, you got to if you want to use the ones that Magnus uses, you got to special order them from. Um, I can't remember the name of the place. Um, I was just looking at it a couple weeks ago, but you have to order the rivets and the burrs separately, and they give you like some kind of a really confusing math problem to do to figure out which rivets and burrs go together. You're like,
Yeah,
you just tell me? You just tell? But it's like the burrs have different widths, you know, from the head of the rivet, and so it's like you've got to figure out like how wide do you want the burr to be whenever it's peened down. Like
right.
I don't really care. I just want it to not come off.
Well, I could see that. I mean, I remember you saying something in that one stream I was watching last night. You used to do woodworking. It's
Hmm.
like deciding whether you want to use a washer or a fender washer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does make a difference, and I- I'm just being a little ridiculous about it, I guess. But it's like when you're not for people who are not like I don't do a lot of metalworking stuff, not a lot of riveting, and this is actually all the riveting I've ever done right behind me.
I'm not too far. I'm not too far ahead of you then.
And But it's like it's one of those things where you you tend to think whenever you're not very deep into a subject that, oh well, it's actually pretty simple because I've only got a surface level knowledge of it, and I don't think that it's too much deeper than that. And then you find out, oh no, surface level is not even described where you are. You are at the stupid newbie phase. You don't know. You don't even know what you don't know about it. So,
Yeah. I get that a lot with people with chainmail. Well, can you make me something chainmail thing? Yeah, which pattern do you want? There's more than one? Yeah, there's about 700.
I want the chainmail pattern. Again, I say, which one?
Uh-huh. I used to sell my chainmail jewelry at a tattoo shop here locally. And my left arm is all tattooed up with this chainmail pattern and pauldron and stuff. And all the stuff, all the tattoo patterns you find online for chainmail, it's just squiggly lines. And even he was just like, this isn't chainmail. This it's like someone tried making chain link fence, just loops or whatever. It doesn't even look like chainmail. I've seen your stuff. This isn't chainmail. And I went on a site that you can design your own inlays, and you take the blank chainmail pattern, and I printed off a blank, and I said, there you go. Here's your template. Draw it out, whatever, and we'll put it together that way. So it actually, when you look at the tattoo, it actually looks like European 4-in-1 chainmail.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not exactly a small individual. My shoulder, just the shoulder of the piece, because it goes almost to my neck. So, and down just above the pec and half my shoulder blade. So it took 3 9-hour tap outs plus another 4 hours to do this tattoo.
Mm.
And he started at the shoulder, and he's like, I don't want to be mean, but son of a bitch, you're a big guy. I'm like, what? And he goes, your fucking shoulder. And I was like, what about it? And he goes, it's bigger than the back piece I'm doing tomorrow. And I was like, bullshit. And he pulls out the back piece and pulls out the pattern for my shoulder, and my shoulder was bigger than this guy's back.
Yes.
My son did a backhanded comment at me when I put the armor on the first time. He goes, don't hit me. But you look like Gimli got a hold of one of the elves, and you're the bastard child that ended up coming from it. I wanted to hit him, but I was laughing too hard.
When I went to Gen Con, that's what everybody who saw me was like, oh, hey, it's Gimli. I'm like,
No.
come on. This doesn't look anything like Gimli's armor.
Not even close. You didn't even have you didn't have the right helm of Gimli alone.
Yeah, I know.
That would be badass to make, though.
Yeah.
I like your little weight you got there.
Yeah, thanks. I saw Magnus using something like this, I don't know, a little over a year ago when I first started doing this stuff.
Right?
And I was like, huh, that is what I need. Something that can hold my thing in place while I'm trying to use my other two hands.
Yeah. I used to be a machinist, and I went through the shop, and I ordered 1 by 3 by 8 foot stainless steel bar. I wasn't leatherworking at the time when I ordered this thing. I was still doing chainmail solely.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make some solid crosses. So I cut out like a 12-inch section of this thing. I put it in the middle, and I middle out, the cross. When you look at it from its end, you can see the cross image. And then we took it to an EDM machine and actually sliced this bar up into the individual crosses. And then once, I got them all cleaned up, the each side of it was 200,000 by 200,000 square, making a hefty, solid cross. Mirror polish them, and goddamn, I love I love the look of it, but goddamn it, I wish I would have thought this thing through. I probably spend 24 to 36 hours per cross polishing them out to a mirror. Oh, it sucks. It sucks. People are, why are your crosses so expensive? How much is your time worth?
Exactly.
But I have some left over that bar, and I've got an 8-inch piece of bar that, like I'll, have the leather laid out, and I'll put the pattern down, but I'll print out the patterns, I'll trim them up and everything, the excess, and I put this 8-inch piece of steel bar on the pattern carefully so I don't damage the leather. And then I'll take a Sharpie or whatever, and I'll trace the outline of the pattern with the Sharpie.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll tape it down and take my weight off. That way I can sit there and punch all my holes out, whether they're, sewing holes, rivet holes, whatever, and then rip the pattern off, rip the tape off, and then I have basically a negative of the shape I need to do, because the ink doesn't go through the paper. And as long as I stay right on that line of where the Sharpie was, my shapes come out fine.
Mm-hmm.
But and then when I'm actually cutting the entire pieces out of the, whole hide or whatever, I've got another 3.5 foot section of that steel bar I'll sit there and use as a weight on the, the whole hide, because most of my work I do is on this stainless steel cart for like a kitchen or whatever, for a professional kitchen. And I've got this surface plate, is how I refer to it as a machinist, as a surface plate. It's a 4-inch thick piece of granite that's 18 inches by 12 inches. That's what I use as my tooling block.
Mm-hmm.
So the hide is bigger than my table with this big ass surface plate, so I have to put that leather bar on to hold my leather down so it doesn't fall onto the floor while I sit there and trace all my pieces out. And okay, let me get this cut out so I can get this thing a little shorter and out of my way. That's why if you look at a lot of my photos and stuff that I posted, you see this bright silvery background. It's because it's my stainless steel tabletop that I'm using. Where you're sitting at a desk or whatever doing yours, my desk is made of glass. It's one of those glass computer tables that I actually use I do all my chain mailing at this desk. Because if, you squeeze too hard with your pliers or you do something weird, the ring's going to end up flying or whatever. And I can see where it lands by looking through the glass. Oh, there it is over there.
Hello.
Maybe it's gonna go to the dance Alexa thing. She has arrived in the back, so that's why I'm back on the paper.
Okay. All right.
Cosmic, you still on?
Looks like she dropped.
I was going to ask her about that carving she did one time.
Oh, that. What was that thing?
It was for the war belt pop test.
Come here, you boy. Yep. You have fun?
Which my son ended up winning that one.
Okay, can you take these upstairs?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, in a lot of the competitions, I just don't know who to vote for.
What was it? Trust?
That was peas and rice. Um, yeah, it can be a challenge sometimes to. There, there are a lot of people on this server that do a good job of. Yes, that was Little Berserker. There are a lot of people that do a good job, building things on the Dark Horse server, and it can be challenging from time to time to figure out like which one am I going to vote for.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, I feel like with this type of thing, it's like in the small details, and it doesn't necessarily get picked up in like a photograph of it.
Yeah.
Well, like your comment to me about the little dots, and you're like, I thought that was antiqued.
Yeah, some of those things you just can't see it, unless you get right up on it. And like
Camera
that,
right up.
the first couple of pictures that you posted of the queer ass, I was like, what is going on there? And I kept zooming in and zoom because I was looking at it on my phone, and I got like way down to the like where I could actually see the cut lines, and then I could see the dots, and I was like, oh my god, that that's way too much, way too much. Like if anybody ever saw that, no one else would ever win a competition. Like, oh no, I give up.
It's not meant to. Like I started it with because the first piece I made was the Gorget.
Hmm.
I think it was Trust actually that made the comment. He goes, I had painted all the gold in and everything, and he goes, "Are you going to antique it?" And I was sitting there going, "Yeah," but I hadn't quite figured out how I was going to antique it.
Hmm.
And I think he was just working on the pauldron design when I was making the Gorget, and I'm like, I know, I'll just, like when you look at some of these, my daughter does a lot of drawing, and she will do these dots to shadow in areas,
Hmm.
and instead of just sitting there trying to scratch light, and go from heavy to light, she'll dot it in, and gets a more precise shadowing that she wants.
Hmm.
You know what? Hey, Brooke, come here. Do that on the leather. And that's what and when I took the pictures from a distance, it looks antique. Yeah, da 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 da. So it wasn't until later that people were like, "Hey, can you zoom in on that?" And I did, and everyone's like, "What the fuck cornflakes was he smoking in the morning?"
Yeah, those it's crazy looking when you get right down on it. I mean, it looks great, from the normal um, a distance that you would probably ever really see it, you know, unless somebody made the mistake of challenging you to a fight or something. They'd probably see it up real close, but uh, hey, this leather looks fantastic. Pow!
Well, so my wife and I, our 25th wedding anniversary is next year. And we had talked about, hey, let's renew our vows at a Ren fair. And we talked about this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, right around our 20th. I was like, okay. I'm working on my hauberk and everything. I said, wouldn't it be cool if I can make like a king's armor? Just something just only the king could freaking afford. Just something so over the top. And Magnus started this whole armor set, and I go, that's the outfit I need to make. That's the outfit I need for my, renewing our vows. And that's why I've done what I've done, is because I'm looking at this piece as like the king's armor, okay? The gold paint. You think the knight's going to sit there and have gold paint or, gold coloring on it? Not unless he's like prince of the realm or whatever. No, he's going to go get his ass kicked, and God damn it, that's expensive. So I wanted to build this king's armor set, which is why this thing is so godly over the top. And I mean, we're walking around. I swear, we're walking around Oberyn, and I have shop owners going, "Hey, you want to come here for a sec? I gotta check this out." One shop owner's like, "Could you please leave? You're making my stuff look like shit." And I've actually had several people come up, "Hey, what shop did you get it from?" I was like, "I made it." Like, "Oh, that's cool. Do you sell this stuff?" I was like, "How much is your car worth?" Like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because that's about how much it's going to cost you."
Yeah, that's people always want, they want to order stuff from you, and then you tell them how much it's going to be, and they're like, maybe I don't actually want it that badly. Like, well, it's not like I need to sell these things, because I just do it for fun. So,
Well, see, I do custom chainmail work.
hmm
So, like, my wife's got a titanium top. I've got my hauberk. They're like way over the top. My wife's top that she has, which, she's lost a lot of weight, so it's getting converted to a whole new outfit. There is $4,000 in titanium. That's not before I touch it. That's just me buying the freaking titanium. So no one in there, unless your name is, like Goldberg, or you work in Hollywood and you've got money that you just pouring out your pockets or whatever. No one in their right mind's got the money to pay for this thing. So the pieces were made for me to showcase to people that, yes, I can make this. Yes, and it catches people's attention. Like, oh my God. It gets them in the door. It gets them to look, and it's like, oh, what do you mean that dress is $12,000? Well, it's made out of titanium, and it took me 6 months to build the thing. Now, if you want cheaper, then that's when they start seeing all my jewelry, my necklaces, my bracelets, my earrings, and so forth. Like, oh, that's more reasonable. It's like, well, that's because it's stainless steel, not titanium, which they're like, well, why those ones more? Well, that one's titanium, or that one's niobium. Those are like, I'm actually holding one of my jars of niobium right now. It is $3 an ounce cheaper than fine silver for me to buy. But it's like the unknown cousin to titanium, in that it's extremely hypoallergenic. So, I can't wear jewelry because I react. Really? Have Have you tried this? And I have yet to meet anyone that has reacted to niobium. The problem is it's extremely expensive. Two, where titanium is known as being very light and very strong, well, its cousin is very weak, and I mean, workability. It's like working with aluminum. Its strength is similar to that of aluminum, but it's heavier than steel.
Oh,
It's like 6% heavier than steel. So, yeah, it's ridiculously heavy. It almost acts like gold in that sense, where it's really dense but really soft. You wouldn't want to wear gold armor.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to move.
Yeah. You'd be fine wearing it as long as you didn't ever plan on doing anything.
Yeah. I'm King's Guard, but please don't attack him because, well, you're going to go right through me.
Just gonna bury me in it.
Yeah, so the only thing, if I understand correctly, remember correctly, Magnus is going to make a helm of some form to go with this armor pack, this armor set. So he had made that statement because I think right after he finished the task, he goes, I need to make the Greaves, and I think you kept chanting Greaves, and he's like, and a helm for it. So I think the only thing else we have is the helm, and once that's done, I don't have to. I will have the full suit. I don't have to try and go full guts and glory over the top with my builds anymore because it's done.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a journey making these things, and there are times where I'm like, it'd be really nice if I could get a bunch of orders for these things, and then I'm like, I'm not sure that I want to sit here and do this all day, every day, forever.
Oh no, I mean, I would be investing in a freaking laser.
Yeah.
I'd have a laser cut all the pieces out. I'd have the laser sit there and do all my holes. I'd have the laser at least start the artwork and maybe go back over it with a swivel knife and, eliminate as much time as possible so that it's actually profitable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too. With the lasers are cool, but I don't personally like the way that lasered artwork looks. And
I agree.
One second. Yeah, I personally don't like the way that lasered artwork looks. And so whenever I'm thinking about like using a laser for the artwork, I'm like, I probably would still go ahead and cut it, after it's on the leather. I'd still cut it in with a swivel knife and then tool it all. So
yeah,
I would probably want it to just do like the outline, give me the stencil.
exactly. Yep. And then just go over it with your swivel knife, make your cuts, start doing your tooling. But like I said, it would eliminate a lot of time.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that kill you for profitability is the amount of time that it takes for you to make said objects. My other thought is, okay, yeah, if someone wants the armor set, fine, I can build the armor set, but if you want all the extra artwork and stuff that goes with it, you're going to be paying for it. But if it was, because you go to the Ren fairs and stuff, and you go through a lot of those leather shops, there's no artwork on it. It's just plain.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was when I went to Gen Con last year, not this past year, but last year. The stuff that they sell there is like so just cheap crap looking stuff. Like you go look at all the different leather shops. They usually got like 5 or 6 leather shops inside the marketplace area, and it's all just. I mean, it looks okay, and if you're not very discerning, and all you want is just like a pouch that holds vials that looks like something that a magician would wear or something, then it's fine. But any of the armor that they have on there is just, it's like they just dyed a piece of leather and then put some buckles on it. And that's it.
Yeah.
No.
And the leather they use, some of the shops you look at, it's like, this isn't even 6-ounce leather.
Yeah. Yep. It's all just pure costume stuff. But then they're selling it for $150 or $200, for a very plain chunk, like, that's probably a piece of 4 to 5 ounce craftsman grade armor that you dyed and cut and then put some buckles on it, and it maybe cost you $60, and now you're selling it for $200. Like, then they look at the stuff that that I've made. Like, how much is that? It's more.
Yeah, that's I got that question a lot when I was at Ora, and they're like, how much is your car? That's literally how I answered people is, how much is it? How much would that cost? I mean, with your chainmail and leather, it's like, how much is your car worth? And they stopped. They're like thinking about it, going, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
I gotta go take care of some things. I'll see you all later.
All right. See you later. Peace.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, is that peas? Oh, I thought that was trust.
I think Trust is on. He's just watching on the stream. But he's until he makes a female pattern for the suit, and it starts all over. Happy wife, happy life. Yep.
Well, from what I was gathering, he was just going to change the cuirass for the females. The gorget, all the rest of it would still marry up to the new female cuirass.
Yeah, I think you might have to adjust the shoulders a bit because most women's shoulders are mildly more narrow than men's. But
he made a small set, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't made all of the different sizes, so I'm not sure how small the small set is. If it's like really small, then maybe it'll work.
I have the patterns, but I haven't made. The only one I've made is mine.
Yeah.
But I have the patterns because of being on Patreon. I got them all, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. And it's all the patterns that I've made are the extra large, but with the exception of these Greaves, I did the medium set of Greaves because I'm kind of short.
I'm short too, but I'm thick. And then my Renfair boots, the ones that I have, I think ones you wore that Comic Con or whatever, Gen Con you were at, there's somewhere where they have the ponchos going up the side of your leg or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's got to go around that massive boot I wear.
Ah, yeah.
And that's why it took 2 people to get the damn things on. Is they were sitting there trying to go around the conchas of my boot and everything so that, it didn't like try and rip the conchas out of my boots. Try and get the center line of the back kind of like in the center line of my calf.
Mm-hmm.
And then, try and line everything up to the front. And because it hasn't been worn, and I haven't water formed it yet because I wanted to try, where do I need to do the water forming? Until I put it on, I don't know, okay, hey, I need to bend the kneecap out a little bit, and so I don't, like, unintentionally remove my kneecap from my body. The toe part, the part you're tooling, I think you're tooling it right now, the one that goes on top of your foot, the very bottom of it, I'm gonna have to wet form that thing out because that rivet that's right there in the very tip of it, that thing dug right into the top of my foot. And I'm going to post the pictures. You're going to see it's just like, okay, the sun's in his eyes. No, I'm actually hurting. I've got a rivet trying to go through my foot. And I will post those on Discord here probably in a little bit. 1 or 2 of them. I'm going to send because Magnus asked, because I had posted that one picture on the Greaves contest, and he's like, hey, you mind if I put this on my website? Yeah, sure, I'll send you more. So I'm going to send all the photos that we took today to him and say, here, you do what you want with them. I mean, it's your fucking pattern. I just did the work. How many? I mean, he's got his example, your example, my example. Mm-hmm. It's not like he has a lot of options.
Yep.
And I actually, that heater shield that's in the chest, you put your logo in it. Mm-hmm. Magnus has the bat wings, vampire wings, or whatever. I've got my actual family coat of arms on mine. Which everyone was like, dude, you've got your coat of arms on that. I'm like, well, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what, it's for. But having all the different options of how, hey, yeah, follow the pattern, but there is room for alteration.
Yeah.
To personalize it to you.
Yeah. You can make it what you want.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that when he does do the female one, he keeps that heater shield in there so that when I go to make a set for my wife, I can put my wife's coat of arms, her family coat of arms on there. Mm-hmm. Hell, I've got my mother's coat of arms and my dad's coat of arms. I mean, obviously I have my dad's coat of arms because it's on my fucking armor. My mom's coat of arms. I actually want to get a piece of leather and put both my parents' coat of arms on there, and then also put both of my wife's coat of arms on there. Almost like a family tree of sorts, but of our coat of arms.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
It would look funky as hell, though. Because my coat of arms is red and white with gold. My wife's is blue and silver. My grandfather's, his family coat of arms is red, white, and green. We don't know what her mother's is yet. We haven't looked it up to find if she even has one.
Yeah.
But what's real fucked up is, my family name comes from England, near York. My wife's family name is Welsh. So not only does she have a coat of arms, but she also has a tartan fabric.
Oh,
Even though
nice.
they're not Scottish, she has her own kilt pattern or tartan pattern, and she fucking hates it. It's like this obnoxious yellow color. She's like, ew. For my kilt, I've got two kilts. I've got one black utility kilt, and then I've got one that is the U.S. Navy tartan.
Mm.
I'm actually going to be using Mag's sporn pattern, altering it a lot, but I'm going to make a Navy sporn out of it, and the knockers or the tassels. I mean, instead of doing the leather tassels that he has, I'm actually going to. I have a pattern I came up with, chainmail pattern, where I make anchors out of chainmail.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to make these black titanium anchors with stainless steel rope around the anchor, and those are going to be my tassels on this sporn. And I already got I've got ponchos that have the official Navy logo on them. It's going on there, and because of my girth, I don't use a sporn chain. My sporn actually connects to my belt, the cheater way. And so the straps connected to my belt. I'm going to make new straps for that and have the Navy conchos on the straps, and then I'm going to make my own chain, make titanium chains for holding the sporn and everything. But it's going to incorporate both my chainmail and leather working together.
That's cool.
And then my boots that I wear for Ren Fair and stuff, there's 8 conchos on each side. So when I'm going to the Ren Fair and stuff, I have this Celtic knot conchos that are on my boots. Once I get this sporn made up and everything else, when I go do veteran stuff, I'll wear my Navy kilt and I'll change the conchos all to Navy conchos.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool, man.
I mean, I've worn my kilt to a couple vet things, and I just wear my other sporn I've got. It's a semi-formal sporn. It looks good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks good, but one of the shirts, I either wear my Navy veteran shirt or I wear another shirt I have. It says veteran on the front, and on the back, it's like Webster's dictionary of a fucking veteran. It says veteran, and it has, noun, a person that wrote a blank check to the United States government up to and including one's life. And every time I wear that, I get stopped. Where'd you get this? Blah, blah, blah. Or I have another one. I have 2 other shirts I wear, actually. If it's on a Friday, I wear my red Friday shirts, which is Remember Everyone Deployed.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other shirt I have says, if you're not willing to support our troops, if you're not willing to stand behind our troops, feel free to stand in front of them.
Yeah.
Because my son got out in November of last year. He is 6th generation Navy.
Nice.
So, I mean, he really doesn't get, I mean, he still kind of feels this like weird, oh, thank you for your service. And he's like, all I did was sit in the bottom of the boat and watch the shaft. You know, what the fuck you thanking me for? I'm over glorified fire watch. I mean, I've watched this, make sure the screw shaft didn't like blow bearings.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Sometimes
so it's still kind of, it's like, I've had to explain it to him. It's like, there's 1% of this population that is active duty. There's 3% of this population that are veterans. It's not that you did the only thing special you did was say, "I'm willing," and that's what people are thanking you for, that you were willing.
yeah.
You know, and it's hard for them to comprehend that. And
Well, there's a lot
like
of
you
people who
were
are
saying
not.
earlier,
There's a lot of people who are not willing.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
97%.
You said you were bringing up. Yeah, exactly. When I was having the mic issue, you were talking about the brotherhood and stuff for the time that you were in, and I agree. Yes, I just I fell under some really unfortunate situations a couple times that affected my time there.
Yeah.
Breaking my back was part of it.
Oof.
Ribs 4, 5, and 6 separated from my spine, breaking the vertebrae when they left. Skull fracture didn't help. Breaking my hip didn't help. Being trained to be aviation support, working on tow tractors and mobile electric power plants, nitrogen carts, stuff like that, and then being sent to a squadron going, "Why are you here?" I don't know. I had orders to come here. I'm here. We don't fucking work on them here. We're the squadron. We have the aircraft. We get the equipment from AIMD. So they're like, I guess we'll just put you in hazmat, or we'll put you in shore patrol, or put you in supply, which is where I was when I broke my back. Getting TAD'd everywhere, because they didn't know where to put me.
Yeah.
I remember when we went on the Kitty Hawk for carrier quals. We got to send someone for ship support. So, hey, Bales, you're the youngest one here. So, I guess you're going to go to the galley. You're going to spend 12 hours a day in the galley. And then, hey, we still want you on do your carrier qual things that, deck training and stuff. So, yeah, you'll spend another 6 hours up on the deck afterwards. And that went on for like 3 days. Man, I got off that boat. All I wanted to do was go somewhere and die. I was so freaking.
Yep. Yeah, I remember I was on the aircraft carrier, the Carl Vinson. My first.
Our sister squadrons, or our sister squadrons, but our hangar mates were on that.
Yeah.
DFA 22. I can't remember the other one. The other squadron right there. Both of them were side by side. They were on the Carl Vinson.
Yeah. I don't know. We had.
But were you?
Yeah, I was ship's company. I was an intelligence specialist, so I was stuck in the skiff most of the time. But I did do mess cranking the first 90 days or whatever. My first cruise, and I was like, whew, yeah. I worked in the officer's wardroom, and that was so much fun.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I hope that's some sarcasm.
It was only a little bit of sarcasm. It was the fun part was like whenever the officers always had good food, because they would order it themselves, and so the guys, the cooks that are making everything, whenever chow ended, they would say, "Well, we made like 3 extra pizzas and they didn't get eaten. Does anybody want them? Because we're gonna have to throw them out if you don't want them." Like, yeah, I'll take 2 of them, and then I would take them down to my shop, and I'd give them to the guys down, the listed guys down there. And one time, I did this, almost every day, several times a day. And one time, an officer caught me leaving the wardroom with some food, and he was like, "Hold on, where are you taking that?" And I was like, "I'm right down here." And he's like, "Who said you could do that?" And I was like, "My commander." He's like, "Well, you're not allowed to do that. You need to turn that around. We paid for that food." I was like, "It's going to be thrown away." He's like, "It doesn't matter. Throw it away. That's what. Don't give it to those people down there." I was like, "Oh my gosh, you are a turd."
Yeah, that sounds like it's well.
Yeah. They used to have these logbooks in the wardroom where the officers could write down, uh, you know, suggestions for how to improve things. Oh, let's see. Trust says, "I was a drill instructor at a time when military service was still mandatory. 10% of my recruits were absolutely non." Yeah. We had guys, when I was in Navy boot camp, we had guys that were saying, "Hold on a second. You mean I have to go on a boat?" And I was like, "Are you kidding? Like, you joined the Navy, bro. What did you think it was?" And but the officers had these stupid logbooks that were they would say, "Here's a good suggestion for how to improve things here in the wardroom." And so I read the logbook one day, and there was a suggestion from somebody that said, uh, "We need more types of jelly for the breakfast in the morning. Um, Currently, we only have 7 different types of jelly, and we really need to have like at least 11 different types of jelly to choose from." And I thought, have you ever been down to
What a
the
pop
enlisted? Like, you ever been down to the enlisted mess? You know what your selection is? You can either have jelly
strawberry
or not.
if we have it. Yeah,
Do you-
when I was there, it was either strawberry grape if they had it.
we never had strawberry. It was great. That was it. If you either had grape or you had no jelly. Strawberry is too fancy. They were like, "We need to have marmalade," and I go, "Who eats marmalade? No one. No one except a snotty."
Pompous ass prick.
All right. Well, there we go.
It's on the Carl Benny, but I know on the USS Shitty Kitty, um, the only meal that was, and at least when I was there, that was actually able to get down and stay down was breakfast. Everything else was questionable.
Well, see, I think that's probably. I guess I could do.
I like that, Pat. There's
Thanks.
like a serious delay though between you, what I see and when you're actually talking.
Yeah.
But I really like the background.
Thank you. That's Hold on a second. I'll show you or I'll give you the number for it. What did I come over here to find though? Oh, I know. I my Primo edge beveler. This thing. Did I ever tell you about this thing? I got those. The other one. I bought these.
Remember, there's 20 seconds. I'm waiting for it to show up on the screen here.
Yeah. I'll find this. Here we go. Okay.
The beveler.
Yeah. So I got these edge bevelers, and of course it'll be seconds until you see them. But so this one is the first one that I got, and it was an Amazon special. And these little prongs on the front of it, they just dig straight into the leather every single time I use it. So it's you have to really be careful with it. And then I bought this one because I thought, well, I need to probably upgrade a little bit because that one's a piece of trash. So I bought this one, and it's got the angled piece here, but it's really not that much better because it still has on the bottom the teeth are flat on the bottom and curved on the top because that makes sense, right? So then, but I didn't think anything of it until I bought this one from Weaver, and the way that this one is shaped, like it is so dang smooth when you're trying to bevel an edge that it just makes you feel like, well, they're making the other ones wrong on purpose. Like this, they're intentionally designing them incorrectly because this one exists and it proves that you can make them and they'll never ever stick into the leather.
Okay, I'm just now seeing you do that first cut with that one. I'm jealous, Brick. That second one you showed up is one of the bevelers. Those are the type of bevelers I have. Is
Yeah.
your second one you held up. But that one, well, actually, I do. I have a Pro Series Tandy Pro one, but it's a number one, and only time I use it is when I'm doing like 4 or 5 ounce. But
Yep.
that is cool.
This thing is so nice. But it made me angry.
Yeah, on my huh?
It made me angry because I was like, they're just making the other ones wrong on purpose. Like there's
Oh yeah,
no other
the
reason.
geometry. Yeah, I like that background texture though. I have a couple backgrounders, but like I said, I started with the Gorget, and I flat matted the whole background, so there's, even you can see some tool marks of how I flattened it out, but there's no real true like pattern to it.
Yeah.
But I do like the backgrounders. I purposely did it so I didn't want it overly too busy. I wanted the knotwork to stand out and not be, trying to shine through the backgrounding and stuff. So I wanted the background to be smashed down to actually, and I cut deep, except for the centerpiece, is that freaking sole boot leather was like impossible to cut. But everything else, I beveled or take my swivel knife. I cut deep so that I can get that depth, that projection of the knotwork sticking out.
Yeah.
But I like that because I've got like a pebble one, and then another one is I think it's called abstract. It looks like someone dropped some rock salt or something on it.
This is I'm gonna put a link here. I think this is the one I'm using. Ah, yeah, that one. Yeah, it's the A888. I'll just drop it in the Discord chat there. That's the one that I'm using. I don't know why they have like 6 different kinds or 7 different kinds on there on that same page, but it's the A888 one, and it's the if you look at the last image on that page, it will show you the pattern. But I really like it too. I was using a different backgrounding pattern. Um, I don't know, when I first started out, and it was a lot more subtle. And then I think Magnus used this one on something that he made, and I was like, wow, I really like that one. So I went and got it, and now it's the only one I use.
Now, when you dye it, does it give you issues dyeing, or does it just like soak it up like a sponge?
Yep, it's real easy. Um, you just gotta make sure that you're using something in the dye process that's gonna spread the dye out nice. If you use
I know,
like
like on when I use my pebble backgrounder, the valleys, no problem. It's always the peaks that just either they don't take as much, or they just, I got to make sure I go all the way around it where half the peak is done and the other half isn't, or it just becomes a real pain in the ass to try and dye the backgrounds of that sometimes.
yeah, yep,
And I don't brush dye anymore. I tried doing that dye painting that Mag does occasionally. Oh, I can't do it. It doesn't work too well for me. So that armor I had, my whole armor set, right? So all of it gets dyed red initially,
hmm
and then I'll go back over with the black because the black will hide the red. That way I don't have to sit there and try and paint the dye around the knotwork, and we end up having to paint the knotwork white to get a good base so that the bleed doesn't, the red doesn't bleed through the gold. So we'll paint it white until it stays white, and then we'll go back over with gold and gold it out.
yeah. This one,
It's a process.
let me see if I can get in a bit closer here. See if it'll do it without twitching too much. All right. So when I do this tooling, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around all of these edges, and I'm just going to start to kind of smooth them out with my modeling spoon. And it's crazy how just a little bit of light work across the edge just it gives it a completely different look, you know. So I just did this edge over here, and it's like, I don't know if it's coming across on the video, but the it was pretty rough looking, like the rest of these. But if I like, so we're gonna do this one next. Now you can see how it's kind of dented here, and it's got some areas that are not so great looking. But I'm just gonna lightly round over some of that and try to.
Okay, the video's caught up to you, especially that edge right near your knotwork where it dented in right there from your tooling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that a couple times. Oh my God, especially with how I flat mat. I have for getting in tight areas like that. I have a tool I use strictly for doing those tight areas, just so I don't compromise the edge. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, it's a pain in the ass. But use the spoon side of the of like your stylus tool there. I have a edge beveler, humongous beveler, not edge beveler, but a beveling tool, but it's huge.
Hmm.
If you were gonna, say you got a line, you got a bevel that's like 6 inches long. This is the one you want to use because you're going to get it done in a couple strokes. But I will do the same thing you're doing with that one to smooth out the tops. Did when I did my swivel knife, did it kind of flare the edge up a little bit? Or when I was if I rush myself with a background, flat matting, did I shove material? Because I always bevel before I flat mat. So I have an undercut beveler I use, and it will sometimes lift that edge up. Yeah, I can see it did help clean up that divot a little bit.
Yeah. It's crazy how you can just kind of,
Mold it back into shape.
yeah.
Let it dry and let it basically re-solidify back into its position.
Yep.
It almost has like a fluid behavior at times.
Yeah. It's so when I first started working with it, I was like, man, it's so much more forgiving than woodworking. Because once you screw something up in woodworking, you just got to start over.
Yeah. You're not going to build an edge back up with wood unless you use wood filler and it stands out. It's like the grain structure's not right. That's wood fill.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
My
There's.
younger son, woodworking. I've done a little bit of it when I was younger. I could not get into it.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. It takes a bit of. I started doing it when I was a kid because my dad was a finished carpenter, as his hobby, and so I would just help him in the shop most of the time, and I learned how to use a lathe and a drill press, and he had a shopsmith, which is it's like the Swiss Army knife of shop tools. Had all that stuff was built into it,
Hmm.
and it was a crazy tool. Like it had a so there's like a central. I don't know if you ever seen one, but it's got like a central like motor unit that slides back and forth on rails, and then so at one end, if you slide the motor all the way to the end, you can connect it to a joiner. So you've got a joiner on one end, and then if you slide it all the way to the other end, there was like an area for a disc sander. And then if you like uh, you could put it like somewhere in the middle, and then that would become a lathe. And then you could like move it to one side and lock it in place, and then you could actually stand the thing up, and it would become a drill press. And it was the craziest machine, but it was, I mean, you get like 5 different tools there, and it only takes up, 1 6 foot space inside your shop.
No,
So,
I've never seen one of those. I mean, I've got you know Craftsman drill press, bench drill press that you'd get at like Sears when they still existed.
hmm
At least in my area, they don't exist. Um, I've got a Dremel scroll saw. It's made by Dremel, but it's not a Dremel tool. Everyone thinks of the rotary tool. It's an actual scroll saw that was made by Dremel. Table saw, and then I think a Ryobi disc belt sander combo, and most of that, the scroll saw I've done a little bit of woodworking with, but most of it's actually been for doing metalworking.
Yeah.
Sheet metal or whatever. I'll drill the holes and then take it to the scroll saw, use a different blade, and cut out the media, and out of the sheet metal that I want. So I just have and then place that over stuff. I really haven't, like I said, it's woodworking tools that I use for metals. Because I've taken like solid pieces of sheet copper or sheet brass, even some sheet stainless steel, and I'll make a band, like a bracelet. You've seen those military bracelet bands that are made out of copper.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where it's not collapsed all the way. It's like a partial cuff, and then I'll have holes drilled into it, and I will make like lack of a better term, a van brace, where that cuff is where it connects to your wrist, and then you'll have straps that connect it all the way up your arm. I've done that, and that's what I use that equipment for. Is I'll make a decorative band that has a design cut into it, and then on my holes for connecting my rings for the chainmail and stuff. So that's what I've used the woodworking tools for.
Yeah, woodworking is it's fun, but you gotta be prepared to have lots and lots of dust in your lungs,
Yeah. Well, you deal with wood dust. I've got to worry about metal shavings and metal. I mean, I've got down here in the dungeon, I've got a Ryobi, 6-inch grinder. On one side, I've actually got a grinding stone on it, and the other side, I've got a polishing wheel. Like I said, my drill press is in here because I have a burnishing tool on my drill press because my bench grinder's got my other wheels on it. So I will sit there and turn on my drill press with the burnishing tool in there and just burnish with that thing. I don't have the nice one that Magnus has mounted on his wall that I think McEwen made, the actual burnishing tool itself. And this is one I think I got from Tandy Leather. It's got 2 sizes on it. It works good on big pieces, but on smaller pieces, I got to use the regular hand slicker.
Yeah. Yeah, so far, I've purchased the small burnishing, motorized burnishing tool that Tandy has, and the skiving machine, and don't like either one of them. I end up, if I'm going to do any skiving, it takes me forever because I have to use that machine, but it doesn't work very well. But it works better than the hand skiving knives that I have. So I'd rather have some better hand skiving knives and just.
Yeah, I have this one. I got this for me for Christmas, I think a year ago. Anyway, it's from Tandy, and it's similar to the machine that Mag uses, but it's listed as a splitting machine. But it's basically the skiver from hell.
Yeah.
don't have a place to mount it, so I'm not going to drill holes in my metal, cooking table. But I have a couple. I have the hand skivers. I've got one of them. I don't even know where I got this thing. Probably at Hobby Lobby or something like that. It's got a slight curvature to it, and you can change the blade out. It's your cheap ass skiving tool. And then I bought the Tandy Pro skiving knife, which is it's just a straight edge blade, really. The 24 millimeter. See, stainless steel, walnut. First time I used it, it sliced my freaking hand open. Bled all over what I was working on, so I had to wait until I healed up and start over because there's blood all over the place. It's great for if you're doing small areas, especially like what was I working on? I think I did it for the cuirass, my straps, because I used some heavy strapping materials. It wasn't like the 6-8 ounce or whatever straps that Mag suggested, because like I said, I'm not a small guy. I knew these things were going to be under some tension because the cuirass is actually two functions. One, it's artistic or whatever, but that chainmail is a lot of weight, and all the weight is on my neck. So, and when you look at videos, movies, whatever, and you see they're always wearing a belt or some kind of restraint on their waist, that's what's supposed to be holding the majority of that weight of that hauberk. Mm-hmm. Well, I use the cuirass as my belt to hold the weight of this chainmail. Mm-hmm. Which means I got to stitch this thing to me like it's a body glove. So the straps are actually made out of 16-ounce leather, and in order for them to fit through the buckle, I had to skive that little bit so that, okay, it made the curve. I can get them buckled in because they were going to be under some tension. And I swear, whenever he comes out with it, I watch the video, I see him, I put it together. Yeah, okay. I get the pattern, I look at the pattern, and, okay, what do I need to do to it? Because he's not wearing, like when he made the Greaves, he was wearing his shorts or whatever and just put it on his leg. Oh, that's fine and dandy. I'm not going to have a bare leg this is going on. It's got to go over a freaking boot that goes up to my knee that is literally tourniquet tight on me. Yeah, this is going to suck.
Yeah, there's definitely, your mileage may vary whenever you're using these patterns. But
I made it on his pattern on his website. I don't know if he's approved it yet because he submitted a picture and all that stuff. But I was like, I think I'd put something along the lines of take your time, read through the instructions, make a plan, and how you're going to do this so that you can incorporate, no matter whether you start at the Gorget, whether you start at the Greaves, they will all tie in together as long as you plan this out ahead of time before you go, oh, gee, how am I going to connect the shoulders to the cuirass? Or am I going to attach the Gorget to the... Well, we couldn't do that because, he was still making it. So, like the shoulders, he made the shoulders before he made the cuirass.
Yep.
And it's just like, I got to a certain point and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop here Wait till he gets the cuirass, and then I'm going to try and figure out how in the fuck I'm going to mount these things. So mine's mounting system's way different than what the pattern says now, because he hadn't done that yet. So, like on the Greaves here, for the back half of the Greaves, how you have the slots for the straps to go through,
Mm-hmm.
on the top of my cuirass, there is 2 slots on each side where I have my straps go through the cuirass, through those slots, and back at themselves. And that's how it mounts up to my cuirass. The shoulders. So the strap and the buckle share the same stud, the same rivet. I had to figure out, okay, do I want the strap on top? No, because it'll be in the way of the buckle. So the buckle's got to be, the top piece that, where I can still access it. Okay, cool. Now, which way do I want the buckle to go? Okay, the buckle's got to be this way. All right. Got that orientation figured out. Cool. Now, which side of the leather strap do I want showing? Do I want this side? This? Oh, my God. It was a freaking... I had to think about this forever on how I was going to mount it. But now that, and the way I've got it, because you may have seen the pictures of the mannequin I've got it on. Once I got it on me, okay, and adjusted where they needed to be, they don't come off. I open up the left side of the cuirass, I remove the tasset, and I put the whole thing on as if it was football pads or something. They don't come off. And then, and the reason I do the left side is I made a pouch, and when I post these pictures, you'll actually see the pouch. It matches the whole set. It's attached on my right side, and it runs through the straps of the cuirass. It's big enough for like my wallet and the key fob to my car. That's about all the only thing I can get into this thing. My phone won't even fit in the fucking thing. I was kind of pissed. But it was one of Magnus's patterns, and my phone just doesn't fit. It's too long.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked. It worked great for Oren. But the other straps on the other side, my sword frog actually goes, the top strap is, I run it through the straps of the sword frog, and that's how I hang my swords off that, is the straps of the cuirass. So another reason why the straps had to be heavy is because, not only am I cinching it to my body, but, I'm also going to hang stuff off of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things that I was trying to figure out with when he did the tassets. I was like, all right, I don't want the tassets to be just hanging down from the cuirass. I didn't like that. It looks good, but I didn't like it, for the way that I wanted to wear it. And I was like, I want these to be like hang down much further. And I still don't really like the solution that I came up with. I think I might go back and change some stuff. But they're like, I don't know if you can see them, but so the tassets are like here, right? This is the tacet piece that he did. So those two, and then it's bolted to or riveted to this other piece that I added in. And of course, I know you're going to see these in a second. But
Yeah, I was going to say, you're just not moving your chair.
this this other piece that's kind of riveted to the belt. So I got a thick belt, Latigo belt that I wear around my waist, and it's got belt loops that I put on there, and a thin belt. Eventually, I'm going to replace that belt with a thicker actual belt. But I'm thinking about putting like in the middle between where the belt comes together, where the buckle is. I think I might put something in there that like a an additional tacit or something. I don't know if that is what that would even be called, but it's
Well, anything that below that cuirass is a tacit, unless it's like a cod piece. But even
yeah.
that, you're talking a tacit. Because even my hauberk, if you look at my hauberk, below that diamond pattern, you'll see where it goes to a European 4-in-1 pattern. That's actually the tacit of the hauberk, in which they're on the front and back, it overlaps. I want to say 6 inches on the front and back, in which when you're looking at the front, the left side overlaps the right, and when you're looking at the back, the right overlaps the left. So that when I'm right-handed and you're in a fighting stance, you have your left leg forward. The overlap, you're able to make that stance without, the tacits opening up and hello, the boys are there, and you can walk. And also the purpose, if you're on a horse, a mounted, cavalry or whatever, mounted knight, you need that split so that when you get on the horse, the saddle and everything, the tacits wrap around your legs so that you still feel the horse, but you're not have the metal between you and the horse digging into the horse, but you got armor coverage. Well,
Yeah.
that tacit that you did, I haven't mounted the cuirass, and it's more of a hip protection, upper thigh, where my chainmail tacit actually provides more of the armor protection than that leather does.
Yeah.
In which I like it that way, because when I was at Oren and I, sat down on a bench to sit there and see Mooney or whatever, or watch a show, I wasn't sitting on a leather tacit that's over my ass, or have a cod piece that was trying to invade my rib cage because I was trying to sit on a bench or something.
Yeah. Let's see. See if I can set this
How
back.
many more is that the last one you got to do?
This is the only one I'm going to do for now. Um,
Or you can do one and do the Photoshop trick or something?
well, I got to do. This is just the first one. So this is the right side, and I got to do the left side one. Um, but let's see. I'm going to turn that. Oh,
I mean, given the amount of time you have left, I'd almost say make the right one and do the Magnus Photoshop trick just so that you can get it in on time.
yeah, I'm gonna I'll I'll finish it. It's it'll be done. But because there's really not that much to do on this. It's just one more of these, two of these, and that's what really takes the time. So I'll have these done probably tomorrow or Monday. I should have the rest of the carving and tooling done. Then it's just a matter of dyeing and cutting and putting things together. So,
Yeah, pay attention to your stitching though. Um,
oh, I'm not stitching anything.
oh,
No,
you're not going to stitch any of it?
nope, it's all riveted. Because that's what I
Oh,
did.
okay.
That's what I did for everything else. All the other pieces
Okay.
are riveted together.
Mine's both stitched and riveted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it's like I said, I've done that from the beginning.
Yeah. And that's from the first piece that I did. Everything was riveted together. So I was like, I'm not going to change it now. Uh, the rivets, they take a little bit of time, but it's not like not like trying to hand stitch. You know, it takes so much more time. Like sit down and watch a
Yes.
movie, and maybe I'll be halfway done by the end of it.
No, you won't. I will suggest. I saw you have a wee man there, apprentice in training, I guess you would say.
Yep.
When you go to set your rivets, especially when you're doing the back to the front, the buckles, I would strongly suggest you have another set of hands help you hold that thing while you rivet it. I actually had two people when I did the first one. Once I figured out how to get it all together, I was able to do it with one. But I don't know how in the hell Magnus did it by himself, because it's just, at least on my anvil, it's so unstable, unbalanced for me to try and run this brass rivet through while I'm got two halves of one leg hanging off this thing. It was a pain. It was easier to have someone hold it in place. You got a wee man apprentice, just keep your fingers out of the way and you just don't move.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. I think I'm gonna jump off here now. I gotta get something to eat and try to
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
get some.
Almost 5 o'clock or past 5 for me.
Yeah. So, thanks everybody. See y'all later.
Peace out.